Jared the
Okay.
Bossman show. We got a great guest for you. You said today, senior writer in the column, Jared Bell, back on the show. Jared, how are things with you, man?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, boss man. Just kind of getting warmed up into this season. We're a quarter of the way and some change into the NFL season, but it still feels pretty fresh in terms of seeing some of these teams separate and who's for real and who's not. So I'm into that, man.
Now, unfortunately, Jared, for us, the Falcons are 1-4. Defense
Yeah,
collapsed after losing Neal, Rico Allen, Deion Jones. Grady Jarrett was
I
out
know.
against Pittsburgh. So, does this
Yeah.
collapse on defense for Atlanta is going to cost the season for the Falcons? Will it cost Dimitroff or Dan Quinn their jobs, in your opinion?
I don't think it's going to cost them their jobs. Let me just say that right off the bat, especially Dimitrov, when you think he just got an extension, and Quinn, they've expressed so much confidence in him. But, when you look at a head coach in the NFL, regardless of what the team is and what the circumstance is, you expect him to be able to make a difference on the side of the football, the area of expertise that got him the job in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for Dan Quinn, that was not running the offense. It was being a defensive coach. And so, yeah, the injuries are, enormous in what has happened with the Falcons. But if, you made your mark as a defensive coach, you got to be able to figure this out as well as anybody. And I think that's the challenge to Dan Quinn. There's a lot of football season to go. We know the Falcons have an offense that can put up 30, 35 points a game. So if he can construct some kind of semblance of a defense, then that's what he's worth. I mean, that's it. So you can't throw the towel in on the season yet because there's a lot of football to go. But yeah, the reality is in that division with New Orleans and with Carolina looking really good right now. It's probably not going to work for the Falcons this year.
Now, Jared, do you see maybe a expendable bye week fire sale for the Falcons? We end up being 1-6 after losing to Tampa on Sunday and the Giants on Monday Night Football. And maybe like a Muhammad Sanu may get traded or somebody like that. They may get traded to get some draft picks in here to help the defense for next year.
I guess all that is on the table. There's going to have to be an off-season plan, a draft plan. I haven't really broken it down to see what's going to happen in free agency, who the top players will be. But when you have the health issues that you have, sure, you want to beef that up. But it also just kind of underscores the whole thing, man, about having to have depth. So we saw the Philadelphia Eagles last year win a Super Bowl after losing their quarterback. We saw Bill Belichick lose Tom Brady a few years ago and end up going 11-5 with Matt Castle. So, that's kind of part of football. It's a war of attrition. You hate to lose people, and when it's multiple people on the type of defense that they've built, it can be staggering. But again, that's kind of where they are right now. They've got to try to, save their season. Because at least you can score 30 points a game. I mean, that's, so you should be. They could have won the Cincinnati game. You look at that one.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, you got to have the defense to make the key stop in crunch time, too.
And I'm fearing for Matt Ryan the next two games, he'll be going to a silent count at home again against Tampa and the Giants because a lot of our fans are coming out to the games. A lot of emphasis at our new stadium. But the visiting team love coming out to this place and playing. So I'm looking for Matt Ryan going silent count against Tampa and the Giants coming up here next 2 weeks here for the Falcons.
Yeah. Well, Matt Ryan is, a big money guy too, and he's got to carry this thing. That's kind of what you would hope for when you have your franchise quarterback. And Ryan has been good. He's been one of the the most productive quarterbacks in the NFL. But this is kind of the pressure on him. It's like, okay, you gotta lead us, big fella.
I hear that. We got Jared Bill here on the Bossman show. Now, Jared, this is a question based on my friendship with Nick Williams of the Titans. We just cut him. The Titans cut Nick Williams, and they got off their practice squad, Jared. Now, this is my question for the Titans. Do you feel they made a mistake by not getting a vet receiver this offseason, knowing that you let go of Harry Douglas and Eric Williams, those guys. You get this just young roster. Rashard Matthews was injured. Should the Titans have signed a vet receiver this offseason to make their team better?
You said for Tennessee or
Yeah,
Atlanta?
the Titans. The
Yeah,
Titans.
the Titans. I mean, yeah, you want to build it, and you want to have the supporting cast for your quarterback. I mean, that's important. You want to have as balanced and as deep team as you can get. But I think the thing that's interesting in this case in particular is what happened with Rashard Matthews, because I mean we're talking about a guy who they invested in to bring to Tennessee. Now it's a new coaching staff with Mike Vrabel, but the GM was there last year with Rashard Matthews, and they ended up signing a new deal with Rashard Matthews in the offseason.
1 year extension.
Yeah, and so you thought that sent the signal that, hey, he's going to be here, or we're relying on him to be there. And then for it to go south as fast as it did, like I said, we're only a few weeks into the season, they probably should have done a better job of anticipating the issues they might have with him. And, Matthews said, hey, I want out. They let him out. But, the time to kind of go through all of that is in the off season when you can bring in somebody. I haven't heard Des Bryant's name linked to Tennessee, but that would be an interesting fit.
Now, speaking of Dez Bryant, Jared, also brought him up. What's his future? Because I feel like Dez Bryant took that deal from the Ravens. 3 years, $21 million guaranteed. He's out of his mind. He should have took the deal. They gave it to Crabtree instead. And now Cleveland brought him in. He didn't want to sign him. Cleveland is about coming back to the Cowboys. What's going on with Dez Bryant? I mean, who's advising this guy? He should take the Ravens deal first of all. But now he's no team. Week 6 now. Who's gonna sign him now?
Unless somebody just really is in dire straits because of injuries, that is in position that they need a guy. That's the kind of team you might look at. Remember, Jason Witten during the offseason was saying he thought the Packers would be the team that Dez Bryant ended up with. And I think, and he won't go back to the Cowboys. I'm pretty sure of that. But just because they cut bait, and even though you could look at the Cowboys and say, boy, they would be at least better than they are now if they had them, for the price and the disruption, that's not going to happen. But you hit it, boss man. The deal from Baltimore was tailor-made for him. And that franchise that, they weren't looking for him to be, not looking for a speed receiver. They signed John Brown, who has been really good for Joe Flacco as the deep threat. And so, yeah, they needed Dez Bryant. And I think I would take Dez Bryant over Crabtree probably. But the Ravens insisted they would have been able to do both of those deals. And then they got Willie Snead, too. So Baltimore remade that receiver room. But the point being, Dez Bryant just really oversold himself by thinking that I could turn down the Ravens and get a better deal somewhere else. And, it happens to people all the time in football, out of football, in the business world, etc., where you value yourself more than other people value you. So there has to be a reality check at some point to say, okay, supply and demand. So his agent, Kim Mayali, I don't know the particulars of how she handled the deal with Dez and the Ravens and marketing Dez after that. Because remember, he hit the market late, like a month, 5 weeks into free agency. So a lot of chairs were filled up already. And his agent should have done a better job of saying, let's take this deal. Because even in the NFL, man, you can sign a 2-year deal and a 3-year deal, and a year later they're ready to get rid of you, and because of salary cap purposes. So take the deal that's on the table. If you've got nothing else to compare, get in, go to work. And so, like you said, now we're 6 weeks into the season, and if you were to bring in Dez Bryant, you've got a lot of work to do to get him up to speed for where you can be. Maybe Cleveland will circle back because they showed interest as well, and he kind of stiff-armed them a little bit too, and they've had some injuries. So, but still, wherever he goes, he's not going to get a big money deal. And so where are you, Dez Bryant? You're on Twitter. It's a shame, really, to see what's happened to him. Because
he's tweeting Skip and Shannon all the time. Your guy, Skip and Shannon. He's hit every time. He's watching Undisputed every morning. Undisputed in First Take. That's all he watches.
It's a shame. Yeah,
all day long. He should be in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
field
What a
somewhere,
shame.
not doing what I would do as a radio host. You know.
Totally. Yeah.
Now, final guy for you, Jared, is about Eric Reed signing in Carolina. The Falcons should have signed him, but I'm not gonna jump in that topic today. But how much you feel about the Panthers signing Eric Reed, his impact on their roster, and impact in general with Colin Kaepernick and that grievance? Maybe could it iced off for Cap to get signed by a team, or does that ship have sailed as well for Cap? But Eric could be back, but Cap no, because he's the ringleader of the protest movement.
Yeah, no, it's weird because you can look at a lot of teams, including the 49ers, who could use Colin Kaepernick right now. And, yeah, it's a shame. We know what it's all related to. And it didn't prevent Eric Reed from getting back in the league, but, quarterbacks are a lot different than other positions, right? And not just because they get protected by the officials, but in terms of being the face of the franchise. And so I know in talking to some NFL people over the past few months, one of the things that they will tell you, and this is no news to you, they'll say, well, we're committed to this other quarterback, and if we bring Kaepernick in, it's going to be a distraction, blah, blah, blah. We want him as a backup,
The
so on and so forth.
spin.
But, yeah, but the spin. But because I think Kaepernick just wants a job, and then to get back in the league, to be going to work every day as a quarterback, and if he's the back, look, it's kind of like what Robert Griffin has done with Baltimore. After Robert Griffin turned down Baltimore, by the way, last year, okay, off season later, he's like, okay, I'll go in and be the backup, right, just to have an opportunity. But yeah, I don't think that Kaepernick would have dismissed the opportunity to go in as a number two just to get back in. But again, the politics behind it is really driving what's happened. Now, in terms of Eric Reed, there was a need. They just thought totally football in this situation and brought him in. But I think the significant thing to really realize when it comes to the Panthers signing Eric Reed is the fact that they've got a new owner in David Tepper, who has been, a very vocal critic of Donald Trump and has, since he bought the team, has, really expressed an appreciation for the players and an understanding of, why so many players were motivated to protest during the anthem. And so the conditions were ripe because if Jerry Richardson still owned the Panthers, there's no way
in the
Eric
world.
Reed would be a Panther. As it relates to the Falcons, I was told by someone within the hierarchy with the Falcons that they did not project Eric Reed to be a fit in their system. And, I don't know I don't know if I'm buying that 100% because when you got guys going
I'm
down
not buying it
the
because
way
I was told of myself they should sign him.
yeah,
Jared, I'm
yeah.
gonna say I told TD, Thomas Dimitrov, Mr. Blank, DQ
It's
myself.
Dimitrov.
Yeah, I told them myself, so they know. I said, "Hey, we should sign Eric Reed." I got the look of like, "Are you serious?" That look of, "Are you serious, Jr.?"
Yeah. Well, like I said, the thing is they talk about it being a fit for their system or not. But I think one of the things that you can do as an NFL coach or general manager, when you're putting a team together, is that you kind of make your system fit around your available talent. And the thing that Eric Reed does provide is, like Kaepernick, really, is a guy who has been experienced and who has, done some good things in the NFL. So it's not like he might not even be able to adapt to a different system. But, I think that's where good coaches make their mark is when they're able to take what they have and make it work for them. And, at least he's got a shot now with the Carolina Panthers, and they're in the hunt to win a division title. I mean, a lot of football left, but, if they stay healthy, they're going to be a team that's going to be reckoned with down the stretch.
Well, Jared, good to get you on the show again, Jared. I talked to you before. I love your work. Hopefully, we'll see you in Atlanta. I'll see you in Super Bowl week for sure. I know if you're coming to town with our record right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's much reason to get there anytime soon unless they all of a sudden rip off a big long winning streak. So,
But
we'll see.
But definitely I'll see you in February at Super Bowl week, man. Look forward to that as well. And like I said, I love your work. Thank you for coming on the show today. Me and my people here appreciate it very much, Jared.
Cool. All right, boss man. You take care.
You too now. That's Jerry Bell, people, on the Bossman Show.
It's maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer. All the stars are closer.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me. You could bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me.
Alexa, play Kendrick Lamar and SZA.
Okay. Maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
All right, back in the Bossman Show. We're about to be joined by a friend of the show, Russell Baxter, a Bax football guru, a man who knows a lot of stats about the NFL. Here he is, Russell Baxter. Russell, how are things up your way, man?
Well, so far so good. Just thoughts down south for everything that's about to go on and starting to go on, and hope everybody stays safe and doesn't take any chances. And remember, nothing more important than yourself and your family.
You got that right. Thank you for those kind words. A lot of our listeners out here have been texting in and asking about the weather. We're doing our best to keep them updated here in our studio here. So a lot of things more important than football going around here today in the Atlanta, Georgia area. But I wanted to talk to you today, Russell, about the quarterback playing in the NFL, especially Drew Brees' record. And I wanted to just ask you about this because you're a stats guy. Who are some current quarterbacks in your mind have a realistic chance to break Brees' record, whether he puts it at 8,000 yards or after he retires? Who are some guys that can legitimately get to his record and break it going forward?
Well, it depends on how much longer people like Tom Brady and Eli Manning and Philip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers all want to play. That's really the key. And the thing that makes what Drew Brees did and continues to do so impressive, and also the potential to see where he's going, is the fact that he just doesn't miss games. He played one game as a rookie. I misstated this the other day to somebody. Became a starter in the league in 2002 with the Chargers. But since he's been with the Saints, he has missed 2 games. One by choice, when the Saints sat everybody in the final week, or most people in the week 17 of the 2009 season, the year they won the Super Bowl. And he's missed 1 game due to injury. And it's so highly productive. And, as you saw the other day, there's real no fall off. He has kept himself very, very healthy. And who knows where this is going? The offense is tailor-made for him. And again, some of these other quarterbacks, how long are they really going to play? I mean, you look at Tom Brady, who's played a little longer than Drew Brees, and, he's sitting at 67,000 yards, and change. So he's still got a ways to go just to get to 70,000 the rest of this year. So we'll see what happens. But, you look at this era right now of all these big passing numbers. I want to say there's now been 9 players in NFL history to throw for at least 50,000 yards, and 5 of them are currently playing in the league.
Wow. And about Drew Brees, Russ, unlike these young quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson and Jimmy G, he does not take unnecessary hits. He gets down. Mm-hmm. I know I'm not taking a hit. I'm getting down. I'm preserving for the throw ball away. I live to see another day, another year. Because at his age, you have to preserve your body. You can't take unnecessary hits, and you won't be out for the year. He knows how to protect himself. Unlike, I wish Deshaun Watson and Jimmy G would watch tape of him, and Carson went to watch tape of Drew Brees and Tom Brady, how they avoid hits, how they avoid getting injured, taking place to play long as they have in their 40s.
Absolutely. And we see athletes now playing longer in all sports. And that's why it'll be interesting to see where that, I go back to the class of 2004, which is Eli, Rivers, and Big Ben, all drafted within the first 11 picks in the first round, all well over 300 career touchdown passes, all well over 50,000 passing yards. But yet, they're in their 15th season. Are these guys, Ben's taken a lot of hits over his career. Eli hasn't necessarily, but lately he has, the last few years. Philip Rivers has taken his share of abuse as well. But the thing that's interesting is Philip Rivers, since he took over, the Chargers starting quarterback job the first week of the 2006 season, he hasn't missed a game or a start. Eli Manning. I mean, think about this. Eli Manning has only ever been knocked out of one game. I say that tongue-in-cheek. And the only guy who knocked him out of a game was his head coach.
Wow. Ben McAdoo.
Eli Manning took over in 2004.
For Kurt Warner, right?
7 games to play. Yeah, Kurt Warner there. And started over 200 consecutive games before Ben McAdoo benched him late last year. The thing is Eli's still starting, and Ben McAdoo got benched.
Yes, he did, and deservedly so. And speaking of Eli's play, Russell, do you think that he's near the end of the line when it comes to that class of Rivers, Big Ben, and him? I think he's probably the first one to retire maybe after this year because he's not looking too hot right now, but the division's kind of close for them. They know everybody has 2 wins except for them. So if they beat Philadelphia, they could be 2 wins as well and could get something going with the Falcons coming up on Monday Night Football after week 7. So they could get to 3 and 4 theoretically and be in the hunt there.
Well, listen, Philadelphia's not playing all that well. You mentioned that every team in the division has 2 wins. This just in, every team in the division has at least 2 losses. So Washington got plastered the other night in New Orleans. So a little known fact about the NFC East: the champion of this division finished last the previous year 5 of the last 6 seasons.
Oh wow!
So it's been a team that comes from the basement. I mean, the Eagles not only came from the basement, they went to the penthouse and won the Super Bowl last year as a last-place team the season before. So, Philadelphia hasn't played anyone in their division yet. The Giants have only played 1 divisional game. Who knows how this is all going to pan out? And, you mentioned the Giants, who will be very well rested for that Monday night game against Atlanta. If Atlanta doesn't get some healthy defensive players, my goodness, I mean, they're in quite a – they've given up 121 points in their last 3 games.
Oh, yeah, it's been horrible, Russell. I mean, watching Drew Brees carve us up, Dalton carve us up in person, and Mercedes-Benz say that when Sunday, it was just the Steelers, Big Ben did his thing against us, got healthy against us. I tell you what, losing Neal, Jones, Rico Allen, Grady Jarrett, not good, and it just shows how the lack of depth on Falcons defense is showing up. And Dan Quinn being a defensive coach, I expect better from him, but it's not happening right now for us here in Atlanta and Tampa this week too, with James coming back. Yeah, let's be honest here.
Lack of depth is one thing. Losing quality starters like that is a totally different thing. Ask the Houston Texans, who lost J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless on the same night against the Kansas City Chiefs. So, listen, every team around this league suffers from a lack of depth because that's the era of the salary cap and the effect it has on a team. But Keanu Neal, Ricardo Allen, Deion Jones, and Grady Jarrett, those are 4 really good defensive players. So
right up the middle, too. Right up the middle as well.
Well, I would defy any team to lose 4 guys like that and be able to hold their head above water until some of the younger players can come in and develop and fill roles. So, I mean, that's one of those wild rash of injuries. And, again, Neal, huge, and you said it perfectly, right up the middle. Okay, Jarrett, Jones, Allen, and Neal. That's, when you're exposed like that, up the middle, if teams can run the ball on you, they can throw the ball even if they're not a great passing team.
You got that right. Now, seeing somebody's passing the ball real well, Russell, is Patrick Mahomes. Did you expect this guy to be this hot the first 5 weeks of the season with him being the new starter in Kansas City on the Andy Reid's offense? I mean, this guy has been amazing. And did you think he would be out of that class of 2017? He would be the star quarterback this early in the game here?
Well, listen, I don't think anybody could tell you in their right mind that he was going to throw 14 touchdown passes in his first 4 games. What was interesting about this past week was he did not throw a touchdown pass. He threw 2 interceptions, first time he was picked off all year. And the Chiefs still managed to score 30 points because they got 5 takeaways, all at the expense of Blake Bortles. We have seen the Chiefs get off to good starts before, but the combination of Mahomes' arm and the fact that they really went all in building up the speed on this team in terms of skill positions. Tyreek Hill, I mean, when Sammy Watkins is your slow wide receiver, that's not the worst thing in the world. So the question with Kansas City is less about Mahomes, and it's more about their defense. Can they play teams and take away the football? Because they certainly haven't stopped anyone so far. This was the first game where we saw that. I mean, 38-28, 42-37. These wild, shootouts, which there have been a lot of them in this league so far. So I don't think anybody would expect somebody with limited experience to just come in and do what Patrick Mahomes did. Now, that being said, people are now starting to get a little used to Patrick Mahomes because they're seeing what he does and seeing what he can't do and seeing what he doesn't like to do. This week they get the Patriots, and now because the NFL flexed the game in tonight, they play the Bengals in what was supposed to be a Sunday afternoon game. Now it's a Sunday night game. So New England's tied for first. Cincinnati's already in first in their division. Things will probably get a little tougher because, as we know, everybody eventually is defensible. Even the greatest of all time go through their bumps and bruises, and I'm sure that's coming for Patrick Mahomes. Can the rest of the team survive that? Here's what I'll say. This is the third time in 6 years under Andy Reid that this team has started out at least 5-0. They didn't fare well in 2013, had that awful playoff, against the Colts. And
Tennessee last year.
Right, and 5-0, and then 5-7 last year, that awful playoff collapse against Tennessee. So I think it's interesting. I think in some ways, the fact that people are still a little skittish on the Chiefs because of their past failures might play into Andy Reid's advantage. All right, don't count us, don't take us serious, blah, 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 blah. Listen, this is on everybody's wish list. Both teams, the Rams and the Chiefs, being undefeated when they play each other on Monday night in Mexico City in Week 11.
There'll be a heck of a spectacle down there for the fans. Let's go for it and see.
And you know exactly what will happen. It'll be 10-7 in overtime.
Or even a tie. Even worse, a tie.
Hey, listen, people talk about the ties and so on. I think people forget a couple of years ago, and one reason I think we've seen these ties, a couple this year, let's not forget the NFL changed the overtime.
Short overtime periods.
15 minutes to 10 minutes. If you don't think that makes a huge difference, then, my goodness, there's a little more urgency now. The Cleveland Browns have played 3 overtime. The Cleveland Browns have played 5 games, and yet they've played 23 quarters of football this year.
And they should have won every game, if you want to be honest about it.
Well, they had their opportunity. But, this is a new offensive coordinator. They've already changed quarterbacks, which, since they've been back in the league, they've only ever had one season in which a quarterback started all 16 games, the same quarterback. So, but this team has a little different feel about it. We talk about the Chiefs and the turnovers and so on. This is an opportunistic Cleveland team. Last year they had 13 takeaways all year. They have 15 in 5 games this year.
Talent and that. Greg Williams playing an attacking defense. He loves to play. He played in New Orleans and Tennessee. He's doing a great job. Cleveland has good coordinating and coaching. I don't know about the head coach, but the coordinators are on point this year. And Baker Mayfield is on fire. He lit a fire to them guys. He's inspired that team. I think they'll win even more games than probably even more people. I feel like Baker Mayfield is the key to their ignition right now.
Well, no question about it. And I don't say this to be, smart alecky or anything, but who on the Cleveland Browns roster, with maybe an exception or two from a free agent, look at the Cleveland Browns roster in total. Where's their playoff experience? Do you know why I bring that up? Because Baker Mayfield does have playoff experience.
The college football
And
playoffs.
in college football playoffs, and I know that's a little different, but I think that gears you up. That extra time, those big, he's looked unshakable. Even with the game where he had the 4 turnovers, okay, he kept coming. So he's going to have his ups and downs. Every player, rookie, young, et cetera, has their ups and downs. But right now he's brought in an attitude to the team. I mean, they didn't play overly well last week and managed to, those were the kind of games that early in the year they'd settle for a tie or they lost at New Orleans. Now they're learning to win. They've won 2 of the last 3. They won a divisional game for the first time in 3 years. When you have all these ominous streaks that the Browns have, you got to chip away at them slowly but surely. And the next one for them will be when they go on the road. They've lost 23 straight road games. So they won 2 games this year. They won 1 the previous 2 years combined. They won a divisional game for the first time in 3 years, et cetera, et cetera. When you're down as long as they have, you got to chip away at these little issues and so on. And so far there's a confidence with this team that you haven't felt in a long time.
You got that right, Russ. I tell you, you're on it, man. You're so correct about that, Russ. That's why I have you on the show, because you're always bringing us the great knowledge here on the Bossman Man Show. Russell, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate your kind words about the weather here, and I know our listeners here really appreciate it, man. I'll keep you updated on my end to know how things are going down here in Georgia, and I look forward to talking to you real soon, man, on here in the show.
All right. Please be careful. Take care, everybody, and seriously, don't. I'm not saying this to be funny or anything like that. Please don't take any chances. I know a lot of people are very stubborn about staying in their homes and et cetera, et cetera. Just let people take care of you. This is Mother Nature. Mother Nature is Mother Nature. Enough said.
Amen to that, Russell. Thank you again, Russell. Have a great day. Talk to you real soon, man.
You got it.
All right, Russell back to people on the Bossman Show.
Hey there, your yard took a real beating this summer. Luckily, Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard has your back. Just feed your grass with Scott's again this fall when the air is cool and the soil is warm. It's the perfect time to give your lawn a boost. If you do, Winter Guard will give your yard the nourishment it needs to help weak, thin grass recover and support root growth, giving you a greener, more resilient lawn both now and next spring. Guaranteed. Grab a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard today. You'll be back to barbecuing in no time. This is a Scott's Yard.
All right, back in the Bossman Show about Sam Amico Hoops. He's been a Green Bay reporter for many years, and I finally get him on the show with me today. Sam, how things up your way, man?
Yeah, they're rainy. They're a little cooler, but I don't know what you got down there. It's, we're used to great pack up here, and wind and all that stuff, so it's nothing out of the ordinary.
It's crazy. It was 85 degrees and sunny yesterday, 85 and sunny. Today is this wind, gloomy, tornado warning. It's like, man, the weather has changed just like a snap of a finger. There you go. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're saying anyway.
First one I have for you, Sam, is the Timberwolves and Jimmy G. Butler, that whole mess. What is your take on that? And what are your sources telling you around the league about, was Thibodeau holding the trade up, or what went on with him not being moved? Because he obviously doesn't want to be there. ESPN's reporting he called him today and practiced to come back with J by Friday, talking trash to everybody in the organization. So are they just going to move the guy and cut the losses now?
Well, first of all, I was thinking today, what's been the most bizarre storyline in the NBA since 2014? You got LeBron coming back to Cleveland. You got LeBron leaving Cleveland. You got Durant joining the Warriors. DeMarcus Cousins joining the Warriors. Brian Colangelo's Twitter fiasco. Now this. This is quite a fiasco in terms of exactly. You didn't think Jimmy Butler was going to report to the team. Maybe trade. This is hanging on for dear life. For some reason, even one of the things interesting about this is it sounds like they could get some decent returns for Butler, and with that he doesn't want to be there. So I'm not really sure why they're clinging to him as if he's LeBron or a young Dwayne Wade or Durant or he's a very nice player. Don't get me wrong, but the guy has said he wants out, and it was the fact he went to practice today was a really odd type of thing, both for him and the Timberwolves. And you just hear how it played out. It almost seems like they've got to make a move. It seems like he and Wiggins are okay, but it might be something with him and Towns. And I would think in that situation, Towns has still got this huge upside that you'd want to keep. And the last thing you want if you're the Timberwolves is dissension going into the season. If you move Butler, then you get to start fresh, and you get a chance at everybody being on the same page. But right now, it seems like a lot of animosity, both with Butler toward the organization and some of his teammates, which is, that's not even necessarily all on Butler, because he's actually a pretty good guy. So it's just it's a bizarre scene and scenario that the Timberwolves really should try to move on from and see what they can get in return.
You got that right, and I feel like Tom Thibodeau's a dead man walking anyway, Sam. I feel like if you keep Butler, you might not probably don't get fired with Scott Layton anyway. If you lose him, you really don't get fired. So I feel like he's a dead man walking. I feel like Tibbs has tried his hand in the head coach and the GM. It's not working out. He's too stubborn. He's too headstrong. He wants to have the Chicago Bulls Northwest now with the Timberwolves. I feel like he's done. He should be a coordinator somewhere defensively, and that's where his career be the rest of his career, in my opinion.
You hit the nail on the head. In terms of people I've talked to around the league, they say the same thing, that he probably made a mistake. It's just not his personality to be a guy who does both, and probably not his personality at all to be a guy who's making final decisions on the roster. Because like you just said, he's bullheaded. He has that reputation, and it's not even something he denies, and that's been tough, I know, in negotiations with other teams. He's really been driving a really overpriced hard bargain for Butler. It sounded like they were really close over the weekend with Miami, in which he got, some nice pieces in terms of Josh Richardson, who's a nice player on the rise from Miami, protected first-round draft pick, and some other players that they would have thrown in there, and that's probably about as good as they're going to get. And then you have Houston, who's offering Eric Gordon and some other players, PJ Tucker, and those are pretty good deals for a guy who has said, I want out, or I'm leaving at the end of the year, at the end of my contract. And yet Thibodeau, he's completely hanging on to this player. And it is a bizarre situation, and what you said and how you described him really is how I'm hearing from other people around the league. He's just been too difficult to deal with, and you're right. It sounds like he's on his way out, because the owner, Glenn Taylor, would definitely like to move Butler and get some nice pieces back.
Exactly. Else he should cut losses right now, because, sir, you're getting fired whether you like it or not. Just collect your checks and move on. If that's what I would tell if I was his agent, but Tibbs is, like I said, is bullheaded and stubborn. He's going to do what he wants to do. Now, another guy, bullheaded and stubborn, and feeling again, Robert Sarver, being Robert Sarver again, Sam, firing the GM now that the season starts, going to put James Jones in that position, so they set him up for failure. But to me, it's not like Sam. He wants to have control. He wants him to kind of like Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, with Jason Garrett. James Jones is a figurehead for Sarver to run the whole show. And if I'm the new coach, Igor, I'm wondering, after 1 year, am I getting fired next?
Yeah, that's a bizarre situation as well, simply because you fire your GM 9 days before the season, after he has spent the off season. He hired a new coach. They had the number one pick and got a nice player in DeAndre Ayton, and then you traded for if you're Ryan McDonough, the GM traded for Ryan Anderson in a deal in which they were able to maybe get a veteran shooter. Not that these were any great moves, but the timing was just fascinating. And you're right. That is a Robert Sarver type thing. Now, we saw some of the players, former players in Phoenix, or who had been in Phoenix, Jared Dudley now with the Nets, Mike James, who played point guard for the Suns last year, Both of them tweeted once McDonough was fired, it's about time. So there obviously was something going on with him in terms of his leadership. May have been a little bit of taking a hard line approach. I know when Chris Grant, former Cavs GM, was in Cleveland, he would tell people, I'm going to trade you. So maybe there was some of that going on, and that's terrible for morale. And maybe Sarver saw that in his defense. Maybe he thought, well, we just can't have that. But it's a bizarre situation again, where you were unable to, you were unable to make a move with your GM during the off season for whatever reason, and now you wait until a week before the season starts. The good news is James Jones seems in line to replace that spot as a GM. Very bright guy, very well liked, obviously, by other players because, James just retired. So he's got relationship with not just players, but modern players, guys who are playing in the game today, and that can help you in terms of free agency. And, James was in Cleveland. He was the player rep when it came time to do the collective bargaining agreement. So he's used to this kind of stuff, player negotiations, contract negotiations. He's well schooled in that. And, it sounds like he's in line to be the next GM. So the timing is extremely questionable, but the rest of it seems to make sense. But you're right. You never know what to expect with some of these owners, and Sarver is definitely one of those guys.
That's what I got for you, Sam, is this. I listened to an interview on the 95.7 The Game out there in California. Mark Thompson said that the sense of Golden State is KD's gone. Like it's the last hurrah out there in Golden State. Are you hearing those rumors and murmurs around the league that he's out of there? I don't see why he would leave. I think he want to stay there and get some more championships. Get a 5-year deal, play the new Chase Center in San Francisco, getting Silicon Valley a little bit more, and build his brand out there. Why he want to leave again for a situation where he won't win again?
I'm with you. I don't know why Kevin Durant would want to leave the Warriors, except for the fact that, he keeps doing these one-year deals and giving himself an opportunity to leave. Sometimes, again, we saw Kyrie Irving leave a really good winning situation. He didn't want to be next to or play alongside LeBron James. Is Kevin Durant going to get tired? And Marcus Thompson, who kind of suggested this, maybe he wants a new challenge. I talked to a couple GMs and they were just speculating, but one of them said, LeBron James left the Cavaliers where he had a great shot to get to the finals again for the 9th straight time. For the Lakers, who, because Golden State's in the West, don't have a very good chance to get to the finals. So maybe players are going to start chasing, instead of just championships, start chasing challenges. And that's an interesting concept. Now, if that's the case, maybe Kevin Durant is going to use this run to get another championship and then go to another market. We heard Chris Haynes from now Yahoo Sports, who said, there's a chance that he could be lured by the Knicks because he just loves New York. His agent loves New York, and the Knicks will have the ability to sign him. So I'm with you. It'd be a really strange move to go from the Golden State Warriors winning titles to the New York Knicks, who can't get in the playoffs. But
exactly.
We just saw LeBron James leave. Now, at least L.A. is L.A., though. You kind of understand that.
Yeah, and the Knicks are just too putrid and pathetic at best,
Well, the one thing I will say about the Knicks is a lot of people like the general manager, Scott Pippen, and because they don't have a very good reputation, also is very well liked. Kind of a player's coach. So that might work in their favor. And a lot will depend on how they do this year and see how things go this year. If they have another massive meltdown, I can't imagine anybody wanting to go there in free agency.
I hear that with Sam. Thank you so much for your time today. And folks, check him out at Miko Hoops. It's .net. It's a great site. Check it out. Sam, thank you again, buddy. Hopefully we'll talk to you real soon down the road, my brother.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me, JR, and stay safe down there. You'll be in our prayers.
Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
All right, folks, back on the Bossman Show. Time to go over to Memphis, Tennessee. Talk to our NFL NBA insider doing his thing, J.C. Smith. What is good, my good brother?
They know. What's going on, boss? What's happening?
Man, no much, bro. Recovering from this hurricane. Looking forward to the Falcons game tomorrow. Hopefully they don't drop to 1-5, but looking forward to being in Memphis again on the 19th for the Hawks and Grizzlies, for the Hawks on the trip to Memphis this year, brother.
No doubt. It's going down, man. I hope everybody being safe up there, man.
Yeah, man.
We trying
to clean up and recover down here, but I think people we didn't get the worst of it, thank God. But hey, you got that wind and that rain; it can be crazy on you. But hey, we're blessed here. It wasn't bad as it was in Florida.
There it is, man.
No doubt, bro. Like I said, I want to talk about the NFC East today, bro, because the NFC East is just a weird division right now. Teams are all jumbled up together. No separation. All teams have flaws, and I whether the Dallas Cowboys have the best defense in the division at the moment, but they don't have any offense, and they don't have any coaching, and playing their cross-state rival Houston Texans an overtime game, 4th and 1 was the point of contention, bruh. With Jerry Jones saying he wasn't second guessing Gary, but he did anyway. On that 4th and 1 call, he decided to punt the ball, play defense, rather than go forward with Zeke Elliott and his quarterback Dak Prescott, who, as I recall, is 18 of 19 on 3rd and 4th and 1 in their years together since they've been on the field together. So, bro, you're the Cowboy, man. I know you know he's rough on you with all the cooning going on around there, but you still kind of with him. So how you feeling about it, man?
It's hard, man. It's hard being a Cowboy fan these days. You know what I'm saying? It's like you love them, but you have to love them from a distance with everything going on, man. But I think that decision by Jason Garrett, the 4th and 1, not going forward when you're on the Texans' side of the field there, the Texans 43 or whatever, in overtime, I think that may have sealed his fate. If the Cowboys do miss the playoffs, which I believe they will, that may have sealed his fate there as far as no longer being the coach of the Cowboys going forward into next season and beyond. Because, I mean, that decision alone kind of pretty much summarized what's going on with the Cowboys right now. Conservative play calling, conservative offense, want to be, run heavy with Zeke, but Zeke still doesn't get enough touches. The defense has to carry the day, and the defense is doing all they can. Even though they don't get a lot of turnovers, they're not giving up huge plays and, the whole bend but don't break mentality, man. And Dak Prescott, we have to be honest, he's regressed. You talk about a guy who only threw 4 picks, his first season, look at the number of picks he has now and the read that he's missing, how inaccurate, he is, with his passing there, man. So, if you're the Cowboys, you gotta make a decision, man. You gotta make a decision. You gotta make a decision by head coach going forward. If you miss the playoffs this year, and you can't be sold on Dak either. If Dak doesn't improve the rest of the season, your thoughts have to be, hey, we may have to look at a quarterback in the draft next year. And if I was more making the calls, I'm definitely looking at a quarterback next year because I don't believe Dak is the answer going forward.
Yeah, and it makes me now. Of course, I'm not a Cowboy fan anymore. I made that clear on the air and off the air to people. But I do see the Cowboy fans who I still talk to, who I know were Dak lovers, want to push out Tony Romo. Now clamoring, wish they had Tony Romo. Remember, I kind of said then when Dak was hot, you may not want to push out Romo just yet.
Yeah.
And now it's coming to pass that, hey, he was hot, yes. He was on a roll, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Romo is still the better quarterback, even at his advanced age. And probably is better now still. Even though he's retired in the booth. And Dak is now and probably will ever be at the quarterback position for the Dallas Cowboys. Just being honest about it.
Exactly, man. Wish you still had Romo now, but with his age and his health, you knew it was just a matter of time before Romo would take a huge hit or something. It's going to be career threatening. I think Romo could probably still play now, but at this point, of his age and everything, I wouldn't do it. But Dak is just not. He's not accurate. He's not accurate, man, with his deep passes, man. It seems like if he's not doing play action, he struggles. So,
Exactly.
Cowboys got some decisions to make going forward, man.
And bro, what I've noticed is now Cole Beasley said something last week about Dak missing the receivers that they're open. Alan Hearns and Deontay Thompson said something this week about it. So if the receivers looking at the film on Mondays, well, Tuesday for the Cowboys, they don't practice on Mondays. On Tuesday saying, look, we open, bruh. You missing us. They watching the same film, and it's split over into the media now. Where there's smoke, there's fire. They all can't. Now, granted, they don't get much separation, but when they do, he's missing them.
Exactly, man. And even with the picks that, on Sunday night, the 2 picks he threw where it was deflections, even those passes were kind of high, inaccurate there. Even those guys should have caught it still. The ball wasn't really put on them in a good position to catch it either. So I don't know if it's just Dak, if it's just defensive coordinators, defense across the league, just having a book on how to defend Dak now, or maybe just one of those kind of 15 minutes of fame with Dak, where it was just one hit wonder, 1 year wonder with him, man, because he's definitely regressed from year one until now.
Exactly, he definitely regressed, and what's also good for the Cowboys in the sense that, hey, each team in the division has at least 2 losses on their resume, which helps them in the loss column there. And the Washington Redskins got smoked by the Saints. Now, probably with it being Drew Brees' night to break the record, they probably won't go win no way. So we going to throw it out there. But look at the NFC East, bro. Who do you see coming out of this mosh pit of 4 teams, kind of right with each other with all flaws here?
Dude, it's kind of like a pick'em, at this point. The NFC East traditionally has been, one of the better conferences in football. But this year, you're talking about, a Giants team that's 1-4. You talk about the Eagles struggling right now with Carson Wentz trying to get his footing again, after his injury, man. And you talk about a Super Bowl defending champion, and the way they're looking right now. And then the Redskins, who we thought, maybe, early on, could maybe do something, but now they're showing that they're still the Redskins, so, really, man, the Cowboys, you just don't know. So that's I guess, it's a blessing in disguise right now is the fact that, the Cowboys at this point, you're still in it. Even though you're 2-3, you still have a great chance of, if you can just pull some wins together, stay healthy, you got a great chance to maybe win the division because who knows, who knows who's gonna come out of the NFC this year.
Exactly. And how you feeling about the Cowboys and Jaguars? That two defenses. Well, Jacksonville defense is all world. The Cowboys showing flashes with Blake Bortles versus Dak Prescott. How do you handicap that matchup, my good brother?
Man, that's tough. As far as the Cowboys are concerned, you're already struggling offensively. You're in the bottom fourth of the league when it comes to offenses there. So at this point, and then you got, like I said, a top-ranked defense, and the Jaguars coming in, man. Like, I think the Cowboys are definitely staring a loss in the face. Yeah, and it could get ugly. Of course, Blake Bortles is not a world beater. He's going to give you some turnovers as well. But can the Cowboys score points? You're struggling to score points all year long, and now you got one of the best defenses and one of the best cover corners, Jalen Ramsey, coming in. So, it's going to be a long day for Dak Prescott, man. I can see 2-3 picks easily for him, man.
No doubt. Well, folks, I'm going to let my man tell you about what he got going on at Clicks in Memphis. Down there, the nice spot out there on Malco Way. Bro, what's the deal tonight here for the second week of October? What's going on at Clicks for the people?
You know where it is, man. The livest party spot in the city each and every Saturday night. Click Sports Bar and Billiards, man. We've been doing it strong for over a couple of years now, man. So come on out tonight. It's going down free before 10, $5 after 10, to get in, man. Come out, have a good time, sing a little karaoke, and party with your boy one time.
No doubt. Come support the Three Kings out there and Trust Us Records. They'll get you a deal signed on the spot. They got contracts in tow for you at the DJ booth. Get you once a day.
Like we always say, boss, you can't trust me, you can't trust us, baby.
You got that right, bro. Great job as always, my brother. I'll talk to you next week, man.
All right, boss, let's do it, bro. Appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
All right,
Yeah, it's your man JC, the host with the most, baby, and it goes down each and every Saturday night right here in the city of Memphis. That's right, y'all. It goes down at Clicks Sports Bar Memphis, baby. 3705 Malco Way, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. Come out and join us, the Three Kings, each and every Saturday night for the livest karaoke in the city. Everybody gets in free till 10 p.m. Only $5 after. Great food. We got drink specials. We got all kind of games, man. We got the pool tables popping. Whatever you want, we got you, man. Come on out. Have a good time with us each and every Saturday night. That's Clicks Sports Bar, Memphis.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Oh, what a great audience. Let's dim the lights for this next one. Nope, too much. There it is. Gotta get things just right. Like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay, and we help you find coverage options that fit your budget. And now, the mood is right. Wait, the lights are back on again. Trudy, can you? And now it's completely dark.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
A gorgeous tan from Suntan City gives you an inner glow that relights the fire when you run into your first crush.
Vicky, who was that?
An old boyfriend.
Lucky you just tanned at Suntan City.
Lucky he's single. We're doing lunch tomorrow.
Won't be single for long then.
During Tour of the City, try all 5 tans, including spray tan, for just $4.99. Restrictions may apply. Click to buy now.
Suntan City, let yourself shine.